Hello. Today is Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. Here is your daily signal. Gold prices experienced their largest drop in 2 months as strong U.S. jobs data fuels expectations of Federal Reserve rate hikes, according to Bloomberg. U.S. jobs data significantly influences Federal Reserve monetary policy decisions by indicating the strength of the labor market, and commodity markets, especially gold, react swiftly to these labor reports, which may signal upcoming interest rate changes. Rising payroll numbers typically push the Fed toward rate hikes, affecting yields and asset values, and recent jobs data releases have been closely watched for their implications on inflation and overall market sentiment. The Federal Reserve, led by Chair Jerome Powell, is evaluating these jobs reports in real time to adjust policy rates. Major commodity traders such as Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan respond rapidly to jobs-driven market shifts. Retail investors and funds holding gold, like SPDR Gold shares, are affected by fluctuations in bullion prices, and U.S. Treasury bond investors monitor labor data for yield signals. Gold prices experienced their largest decline in 2 months following strong U.S. jobs data that increased expectations of Fed rate hikes. Near-term, heightened expectations around further rate hikes may lead to continued volatility in both precious metals and bond markets. The U.S. dollar could strengthen as traders anticipate tighter monetary policy, impacting global commodity pricing. Medium-term, persistently robust jobs data may push the Fed to continue policy tightening, raising borrowing costs and potentially slowing economic growth, while risk assets including equities and commodities could face increased price swings as markets digest these signals. Next, onto factors driving record U.S. beef price increases. Americans are facing record prices for beef, even though the country remains one of the world's largest meat producers, Fortune reports. The average price of a pound of ground beef in the U.S. hit $6.90 in May 2026, setting a new record, a 19% jump from a year ago despite high production levels and persistent supply shortages that have failed to offset rising demand. Major meat processing companies such as Tyson Foods and Cargill play a central role in U.S. beef pricing, while the USDA monitors meat production and market fluctuations that affect both consumers and producers. Retailers like Walmart and Kroger are impacted by wholesale price increases, and U.S. consumers along with restaurant chains are feeling the direct effects of these record costs. On June 5, Fortune reported that the U.S. average retail price of ground beef reached $6.90 per pound, up about 19% from a year earlier, despite high production levels. In the near term, consumers may shift purchases to cheaper proteins or reduce beef consumption as prices climb. Restaurants might cut back on beef menu options or raise meal prices to offset these costs, and meat processors may need to optimize supply chains or find efficiency gains to mitigate impacts. Medium-term, extended high beef prices could accelerate demand for plant-based alternatives and shift investment patterns in livestock farming. Next, shifting to technical innovation in AI agent control. On Hacker News, a new tool called Zedra was introduced, offering a unique mobile code editor that connects directly to desktop systems and enables remote AI agent control. AI coding agents such as Claude and Codex have traditionally required stationary desktop control, limiting developer mobility, and remote mobile control of these agents faces ongoing security, latency, and UI integration challenges. Existing tools struggle with real-time code editing, file browsing, and agent interaction on mobile, though there is growing demand for seamless, secure, multi-device workflows for AI-driven development. Zedra is developed and showcased by an independent developer on Hacker News, and major AI agents like Claude from Anthropic and Codex from OpenAI are part of its extended ecosystem, targeting developers seeking mobile integration. On June 6, 2026, Zedra distinguished itself by enabling users to run any AI coding agent via remote terminal and supporting integrated code editing, markdown rendering, and file browsing directly from a mobile device. In the near term, Zedra could enable developers to work with advanced AI agents from anywhere, boosting productivity and flexibility. Innovations in security and usability may set new standards for mobile remote AI agent interactions, and medium-term adoption could spur integration of complex coding workflows into mobile environments, potentially pressuring larger AI service providers to enhance mobile support and interoperability. Now, onto the markets. Key international markets were mixed. Germany closed lower with the EWG ETF down by 0.6%, while France gained 0.4% led by EWQ. Netherlands saw a 0.3% rise in EWN, and Indonesia jumped 5.4% with IDX as the top mover. Commodities were predominantly weak, as gold slid 1.5% and silver dropped over 4%, with GLD and SLV experiencing notable declines. U.S. oil fell 3.5% as USO retreated, and platinum also lost 2.2% via PPLT. Real estate led sector gains in the U.S., with XLRE up 2% and RWR advancing 2.3%. Semiconductors slumped, stocks declining nearly 4.9%. Among favorites, Oracle outperformed with a 5% monthly gain, while AMD fell 6.7% and Microsoft dropped 2.4%. The best performing stock overall was AZI, jumping 325%, and the worst was SMTK, down 53%. That's it for today. You can find more news and details on our website. Goodbye.